Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this edition of the Cardinal Beat podcast. Joining us today is the head men's soccer coach, Jimmy Regan. Thank you so much for joining us here.
You're welcome.
On this beautiful, gorgeous day. It doesn't get better than this.
Oh, it's great, especially in the shade.
You've been here a very long time. We were kind of joking about that before we started filming. 37 years. Started in 1983?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you have been through pretty much everything here since we've only been in existence for 54 years. So you've seen a lot.
It all started basically when my parents immigrated from Northern Ireland to Canada. So I went to high school in Canada and played soccer and got recruited to come to the States and ended up at Bethany College nearby here. And after graduation from there, the wheeling job opened up as an assistant. I took that job and then it turned into a full-time position after that. I met my wife here and we've been living here ever since. We've had raised 4 wonderful kids and just married off the last one 2 weeks ago, my youngest one, my daughter. So so we are empty nesters, so to speak. And so we had quite a wonderful life, and Wheeling Jesuit, Wheeling College, Wheeling University has been a big part of that.
Tell us a little bit about your team this season.
Well, I mean, obviously this season we have to kind of reflect on the off season. You know, obviously we went through a lot last spring with the restructuring of the university.
Right.
We had a really good team last year. We went to the conference final, lost to Charleston, which are always number 1 or 2 in the country, and had returning a lot of players. We had 32 players returning as of April.
Nice.
Restructuring, obviously, as we know, it's not a secret. We went through a lot of difficult times, and we lost a lot of the roster. We're back now with about 17 players. For different reasons, some of the kids that was majors were dropped, and other kids was just with the uncertainty of being freshmen. We had 15 freshmen. So now, looking forward, we're moving on with 17, 18 kids that have been dedicated and want to come back and want to, keep going. So, expectations, it's hard because, it's when you look at the past and what you've got now and moving forward, we still want to be competitive as we've always been. The soccer program here has always been competitive and always finished in the top 4 in the conference. And this year will be no different as far as our expectations go. The only difference is, we just got to work a little harder, obviously, and rebuild this program. I feel like it's a reflection of back when I started in '83, when I was building the program now. Now it looks like I'm in a rebuilding year again, 37 years later. So it's kind of a mixed emotions, but yeah, we're ready for the task, and the kids are ready, and they'll work hard.
Circle of life, that's for sure.
That's it, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you recruit your players.
It's really a nice mix. I mean, the conference is dominated with a lot of schools that have a lot of internationals. We at Wheeling have always had a nice mix of local talent and even national talent in the sense of from Colorado and California, New Jersey. So we've always prided ourselves in a nice mix, and then we've had a wonderful experience with international students. It's great for the culture, for the university. It's great to have them here. They actually are some of our better students. Our senior captain last year graduated. He was the scholar athlete for men's soccer in the conference.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Marcia Manuzzi, and so just a wonderful person, and we're just lucky to have that kind of nice melting pot here.
That's great. What are some of the countries, off the top of your head, of student athletes that you've had in your program?
We've had quite a variety,
I'm curious.
Yeah, throughout the years, from Ireland, from England, from Trinidad, Tobago, from Venezuela, from Spain, Argentina. So, yeah, we've had quite the variety. How
do you recruit internationally? How does that work? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, obviously there's recruiting services out there, but a lot of ours have been through word of mouth. Like, for example, when I first started here, we had a good population of kids from Canada and Trinidad, and it was just the word of mouth of kids who had already been here. And then getting into Spain, we went through a recruiting service first, but now we've had, kids there, and it's again word of mouth. Venezuelan kids love it here. We've had, 5 or 6 of those kids go through here and graduate, and then they obviously loved it while they were here. So it's a great circle of, word of mouth.
You've worn a couple different hats in your 37 years.
Well, I mean, obviously when I first started here, you'll laugh at this, but basically I was soccer coach, and then I was in admissions, in adult recruitment and admissions. This was back in the 80s. You know what I mean? So that was an interesting scenario.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So that was interesting to start with. And then it merged into me trying to get out of that scenario and go full time. So what happened was I proposed to start a women's program back in, I think it was 88, 89.
Oh, no way.
And then, so I could be full time in athletics. So that's what I did. And then for the next, I think 10 or 15 years, I did coaching both men and women. Which was interesting, and it was fun, but it was like, you had to change hats real quickly, from one practice to the other, and then from all of our games were double headers then. So I'd coach whatever the first game would be the men, and then maybe the women. So you had to put that one behind you and put your different hat on right away within a 15, 20-minute period and change completely to that. So then from there, then it went to basically my kids started to get college age and they were coming here. So when they came, I had the 3 boys that played for me.
Oh, that's cool.
So I had to make a decision because the conference kind of split, so we couldn't do a lot of double headers anymore. So I'd have to travel with the girls one day and come back and go with the men. So I had to make a decision, and I talked to the AD at the time and said, well, why don't you be like the academic coordinators, help all the student athletes with their academics and track their grades? And I said, well, that'd be great.
Perfect.
You have to choose one program. So I had to choose. It was difficult because they were both, I enjoyed both, but I had 3 sons. Yeah. So I went with that as the men's coach. My daughter won't forgive me for it because she ended up playing here too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
They all played soccer?
They all played soccer here, yeah.
Cool.
So when she started, she said, can you come back with the girls? I said, I can't do that. So yeah, that's how it became where it is now, I guess.
Let's talk a little bit about the expectations that you have for this year.
Well, like I said earlier, we always want to compete to be in the top 2 or 3 in the conference, and obviously try to win the conference championship and move on from there. So again, we still have those expectations. It's going to be a little more difficult this year than normal, but the kids are up for the task. I mean, they work hard. That's all I can ask for them, and put the effort into every game. Obviously, with University of Charleston in this conference, they're national champions 2 years ago. They've been in the Final Four for the last, 4 or 5 years. So for anybody in this conference to beat them and stuff it's quite a task. But we're one of the few schools that have beaten them in the past few years, and it's all been done because of hard work and the motto that we have here, the expectations that, the alumni and what we expect here, and the kids know the history of the program here. So we'll be in the hunt for that, but we'll have to work really, really hard. We're off to a decent start. We've played just 2 games basically, and we're 1-1. And like I said, the kids are looking forward. Our conference slate starts soon, and we've got a home game coming up soon against West Virginia Wesleyan, and it's going to be a battle like anything else. I think the conference outside of Charleston, the rest of the teams are in a mix for the top 4 spots. There's 9 schools, and I think number 1 is clearly going to be Charleston, but the rest of us will be fighting for those other 3 playoff spots.
Wow, very interesting. Well, we all wish you good luck for the season, and thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's been a lot of fun.
And thank you for joining us. Join us next time right here on the Cardinal Beat Podcast. Go Cards.